waiting list of 1,400 international relief flights seeking to land on Port-au-Prince's single runway, where 12 to 140 flights were arriving daily. This is back at the end of January. Why, after over an extended period of time since the quake and later aftershocks, their relief had not gotten to the Haitian people en masse? Why does the corporate media seek out incidents to validate its claim that the Haitian people are incapable of handling their own affairs and determining the destiny of the country? The answer to these questions are to be found in the history and the contemporary situation in Haiti, as well as the Caribbean as a whole. Because they kept trying to make it appear as if the Haitian people were lawless, that they were looting, there was no organization, and this was done, in order to justify the presence of the U.S. military, but then at the same time to justify repressive measures against the Haitian people. As of late, between January and April of this year, the U.S. has announced the deployment of 11,000 troops from the Army as well as the Marines. Also, the United Nations 9,000-person peacekeeping force will be increasing its presence by another 3,500 troops to bolster the so-called mission in Haiti, MINUSTAH. Now, the Obama administration pledged $100 million in relief assistance, but the appointment of Bill Clinton and George W. Bush to coordinate efforts sent the wrong signal for not only the people in Haiti and the Caribbean, but also those within the United States itself, who vividly recall that the role of both of these presidents in invading Haiti. Clinton was involved in an invasion of Haiti in 1994 to supposedly reinstall John Bertrand Aristide, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And George W. Bush, 10 years later, in 2004, sent in the Marines to overthrow John Bertrand Aristide. So it really didn't send a good message to the people of Haiti as well as to the progressive forces here in this country. A myriad of other U.S., European, and Canadian agencies have announced tens of millions of dollars in relief aid. Yet, from all credible accounts emanating from inside Haiti, the military forces deployed by U.S. imperialism are serving more as an impediment to helping the people than providing the type of assistance that is really needed. There have been news reports showing U.S. troops firing on Haitians who are simply trying to get food, water, and supplies from destroyed businesses damaged in the earthquake. I mean, what difference does it make? Here you have food rotting, you have goods that are not being utilized and probably will never be utilized. I mean, what's wrong with people going and taking water and taking food? It makes no sense whatsoever. Such scenes provide the rationale for increased repression and containment of the majority of the people in Haiti. At the conclusion of 1 week after the quake, it was stated that hundreds of thousands of people would be relocated from Port-au-Prince to other regions of the country. Therefore, despite the presence of thousands of Marines, Army units, and other U.S. personnel, the conditions of the Haitian people are worsening. The organizational capacity of the workers and youth are being stifled as a result of the dominance of the United States. Now, just to touch on some of the history of Haiti. How did Haiti arrive in this social situation where it is often described as, quote, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, unquote? Absent of the series of hurricanes that hit the country over the last 2 years and the recent devastating earthquake that registered at 7.0 with a number of substantial aftershocks that did further damage to buildings, the character of the Haitian political economy cannot be separated from the history of slavery, colonialism, and neo-colonialism in the entire Caribbean. Western European contact with the island that became known as Hispaniola, where both Haiti and the Dominican Republic are located, was a traumatic one. The Spanish monarchy sent Columbus in 1492 to pave the way for its imperial and colonial aims that resulted in the extermination of the indigenous people on the island. Ralph Korngold, in his political biography of Toussaint Louverture, wrote, and the book is entitled Citizen in Toussaint, that was written way back in the 1940s. It states with reference to the indigenous people of Hispaniola that, quote, if the Indians perished by tens and by hundreds of thousands, the white colonists prospered. Mines and plantations were developed. The ports on the island were crowded with proud galleons bringing manufactured products from the mother country and carrying away rich colonial produce, unquote. Korngold continues by noting the tremendous wealth the Spanish gained from the exploitation of the resources and people of Hispaniola. He states that, quote, "For many of the colonists, the dream of wealth came true. Some returned to Spain and spent it in riotous living, the wealth wrung from the Indians. Others built fine houses, imported costly furniture and clothing, and set out to found a colonial aristocracy," unquote. The colony of Hispaniola began to rival its European capital in wealth and opulence. According to Oviedo, who wrote to Charles V, saying, quote, that there was not a city in Spain comparable with San Domingo City. There were mansions surpassing in size, splendor and comfort, the palaces in which royalty lived in the mother country, unquote. So we can see that there was a lot of wealth extracted in terms of mineral resources as well as slave labor from the indigenous people, and later the importation of African slaves. Frederick Douglass, the former abolitionist and U.S. Minister to the Republic of Haiti, delivered an address in Chicago in 1893, where he discussed the role of Spain in the conquering of Hispaniola. Douglass pointed to the role of the church in this process and the contradictions between the principles of Christianity and the practice of the Spanish in the extermination of the Caribbean native people and the enslavement of the Africans. Douglass said in this speech that, quote, "In thinking of Haiti, a painful, perplexing, and contradictory fact meets us at the onset. It is that Negro slavery was brought to the New World by the same people from whom Haiti received her religion and her civilization. No people have ever shown greater religious zeal or have given more attention to the ordinance of the Christian church than have the Spaniards. Yet, no people were ever guilty of more injustice and blood-chilling cruelty to their fellow men than these same religious Spaniards. Men more learned in the theory of religion than I am may be able to explain and reconcile these two facts. But to me, they seem to prove that men may be very pious and yet pitiless, very religious and yet practice the foulest crimes. These Spanish Christians found in Haiti a million harmless men and women, and in less than 60 years, they had murdered nearly all of them. With religion on their lips, the tiger in their hearts, and the slave whip in their hands, they lashed these innocent natives to toil, death, and extinction. Yet these pious souls had destroyed the natives. They opened the slave trade with Africa as a merciful device. Such, at least, is the testimony of history," unquote. That's what Frederick Douglass said in 1893 about the history of Haiti. Later, the French, the British, and the Dutch would come seeking the fortunes on the island. The economic decline of the colony under Spain opened up the island to settlement by the French, who took over the western region by the second decade of the 17th century. Beginning in the middle of the 17th century, the main products developed on the island were cocoa, indigo, and tobacco. In 1644, Benjamin da Costa brought in sugarcane production from Java, which led to rapid growth in this industry throughout the island and throughout the entire Caribbean. Korngold points out that, quote, "Sugarcane might have been profitably grown on small farms had independent mills been erected. But there appeared instead large sugar plantations that had their own mills and were manufactories as well as agricultural establishments. To produce sugar in this fashion required a great outlay of capital. Vast estates swallowed up the small farmers," unquote. By 1789, over 1 million Africans had been imported into Hispaniola as slaves. C.L.R. James wrote a book in 1938 entitled The Black Jacobins. And in that book he says that, quote, "In 1789, the French West Indian colony of San Domingo supplied 2/3 of the overseas trade of France and was the greatest individual market for the European slave trade. It was an integral part of the economic life of the age, the greatest colony in the world, the pride of France, and the envy of every other imperialist nation. The whole structure rested on the labor of 500,000 slaves," unquote. James continues by recounting the sheer magnitude of the revolutionary struggle launched by the African people of Haiti beginning during the last decade of the 18th century. He says that, quote, "In August 1791, after 2 years of the French Revolution and its repercussions in San Domingo, the slaves revolted. The struggle lasted for 12 years. The slaves defeated in turn the local whites and the soldiers of the French monarchy, a Spanish invasion, a British expedition of some 60,000 men, and a French expedition of similar size under Bonaparte's brother-in-law. The defeat of Bonaparte's expedition in 1803 resulted in the establishment of the first Negro state in Haiti, which has lasted to this day, unquote. The revolt and subsequent seizure